In this one I'm going to show you how I approach painting a silver birch tree. I first of all drew in the basic shape of the tree trunk, masked it out and then painted a dark green background. I've now removed the masking fluid and I've made 3 washes of paint. I'm going to start by wetting the whole of the tree trunk with clean water. This enables the colours I'm going to float into the soft background to blend together. So first of all I'm going to put a little bit of the cobalt blue and cobalt violet mixture in. I'm concentrating more colour towards the right hand side of the trunk because I've got the light coming from the left. So I'm putting a bit more colour and a bit more shadow onto the right hand side. I don't need to worry about that little branch there for the time being. Then cleaning the brush, I'm picking up the orange colour. This is a mixture of raw sienna and burnt sienna, and this puts a little bit of warmth into it, a little bit of sunlight, making it a little bit blotchy and irregular, not too neat and tidy. At the same time though, I'm trying to get that cylindrical effect. I'm trying to make the trunk look rounded. A little bit more blue down here I think, and maybe a bit more of the orange. I'm going to make that raw sienna and burnt sienna mixture slightly redder by adding a bit more burnt sienna. Touch of that into there. It's a case of working fairly rapidly while your background remains wet so that the colours do mix and blend. But I'm keeping away from that left hand side of the trunk, so I've got some white paper there to look like light. And now I'm picking up the brown mixture. This is the burnt sienna and cobalt blue. This should be slightly thicker than the previous 2 colours. And let's concentrate this more or less at the right hand side of the trunk, bringing it into the branch there. Best not to overdo it. I'm using the very point of the brush so I don't put too much paint in. If you overdo it and lose that light, it's very difficult to get that back again. Okay, I'm cleaning the brush again, topping it up with clean water, and I'm just going to coat this branch with clean water, allowing that dark brown to wander into it a touch. Then I'm getting a smaller brush and some more of that brown, and I'm putting that along the underside of that branch. Got a smaller branch coming off it. I'm going to encourage that to blend by just going over it with a damp clean brush. Now that needs some drying time. So we can see now that that's dry, that the trunk has a sort of cylindrical effect to it. And I achieved this by putting more of the colour over at the right hand side and leaving more white paper at the left. It was very important that I did this fairly quickly so that I could take advantage of the wetness of the trunk and let the colours blend into each other. So there's only a little bit of detail to put in now. So I've made a fairly dark brown mixture now with burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. This is just a little bit darker than the brown I put in earlier. And I've got a number 2 or detailer brush. And often with a silver birch you get a few rings around the trunk. And put in a few suggestions of these in. They are slightly curved to sort of emphasise the cylindrical nature of the trunk again. Best to keep stopping, having a look what you're doing as well, because anything like this, it's very easy to overdo it. If you get a few little marks in the trunk, some little irregular shapes. I'm letting a little bit of the dark colour go into the left hand side, but I still am concentrating more dark over at the right hand side of the trunk. I've added a bit more burnt sienna now to make this a little redder. And we'll just do a little bit more. A little bit of texture on that branch. But again, it's easy to get carried away and do too much. I think that's about right. That's plenty of detail. And here you can see this effect in the context of the finished picture.